So your friends tricked you into playing Darktide. Now what? Stick around and I'll show you some tips and tricks that you may use to up your gameplay. Also, if you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up.
Let's start off by looking at the classes.
The Veteran Sharpshooter is your standard range-focused class. Their class-specific ability allows them to automatically mark high-interest targets and a 50% buff to their range damage for a short period of time. The Zealot specializes in melee combat. They have a charge ability which replenishes their toughness bar and makes their next melee hit critical. This is especially useful when saving allies pinned by Pox health or staggering elites. The Psyker is a spellcaster class. The grenade is replaced with a single target Hitbox spell that is capable of killing elites from range. The Psyker also has access to a plethora of spell staffs. And finally, the Ogryn. This is the designated tanky class of Darktide. They are the only class capable of using a shield. The Ogryn's ability is a charge that knocks down everything in his path, save giant monstrosities. Pro tip: the Ogryn moves a lot faster carrying heavy objects in comparison to other classes, essentially great for speedrunning objectives. A quick fun fact: when creating your character, the prison garb color on each crime represents a different chaos god. Represented in blue, Zinj, the Great Deceiver, father of deception and convoluted scheming. Red represents Khorne the Wrathful. Yeah, you get the gist of it. Green represents Nurgle the Plague God. You will be facing a lot of enemies in Darktide who are aligned to Nurgle like the Infested Horde. And finally, yellow. Personally, I thought this also represented Nurgle due to the green and color being primary colors for Nurgle. But I was told by a friend who was a Warhammer buff that this one represented the base chaos, like an intern position before pledging themselves to a specific dark god. Please share your thoughts in the comments, I would like to see what you think. The game has 5 difficulty settings as indicated in the bars above each mission, or you can check the red box on screen. Sedition being the lowest difficulty, good for starting out if you're new to the game. Uprising once you start gaining higher trust rank. This setting unlocks Ogryn elites and secondary objectives, like finding and extracting with scriptures or grimoires. Do note, not all Uprising missions have secondary objectives attached to them. Be sure to click the individual missions on the hub to figure this out. Game generally unlocks all difficulty settings at trust level 6. I would recommend getting better gear and higher levels before attempting anything above Uprising if you are new to the game.
Jumping into general survivability, the blue bar above your health is your toughness. Toughness acts as a shield and it's a resource you want to keep a lookout for. The few common ways to regenerate toughness involves killing enemies with a melee weapon, standing close to your allies for Coherence buff, and your class feats. Some weapon perks regenerate toughness on special conditions as well. Notice how your health bar is divided into smaller segments? This indicates how many times you are able to go down before being captured by the enemy. Each time you go down, a segment gets corrupted, which can be identified as the purple bar slowly filling up. Corrupted health cannot be regenerated with a health station and must be healed through a Medicae station. Some special enemies have the ability to corrupt your health bar just by landing hits on you, so watch out for that. As I mentioned a while ago about Coherence, this is probably the most important buff to look out for when playing on higher difficulties. Each time you are close to an ally, you gain a stack of Coherence, and the aura buff they provide. You can passively regenerate toughness without the use of feats via 2 stacks of Coherence onwards. Having higher stacks of Coherence also indicates you are gaining the benefits of aura buffs provided by your allies. You don't have to stand next to them, but keep in close enough proximity to gain these benefits. It will help you greatly. This is probably the meat and potatoes of Darktide. I honestly believe the game is designed around this mechanic, and learning to use them at the right timing will help your survivability. Hold right click with your melee weapon to block. Note that this is directional, so enemies can still bonk you from the back. Press mouse 1 while blocking to shove enemies backwards. This will stagger most enemies, but it's not effective against rages which have unyielding and big monsters like, Spawn of Nurgle. Some special enemies like the Mauler have big wind-up attacks that will penetrate your block. Dodge out of the way by pressing any directional key other than the forward key with spacebar to dodge. Dodging does not consume stamina, but has a short cooldown. Pro tip, when dealing with hordes, always try and dodge backwards or to the side. You don't want them getting behind you. As a melee boy, ranged enemies are essentially kind of your bane, but there is a way to deal with this. You can force them into melee combat by moving closer to them. Do this effectively by sliding towards them. Sliding will dodge bullet fire, but you can still get hit by melee. Similar to ranged weapons, aiming your melee attack is just as crucial when going close quarters. You can score headshots or weak point hits, so understanding your moveset for your melee weapon will come in handy. When utilizing hit indicators, the light blue marker means you have scored an ineffective hit, usually on an armored location, while neutral zones are white and yellow for headshots. No, honestly, you expect a hammer to be strong against armored enemies. Okay, never mind. Another pro tip, I know this might sound strange, but moving your camera in the direction of a heavy swing can extend the cleave range. Charge up your heavy and simply swing your view towards the direction of where you are cleaving towards. There are a few ways to unlock cosmetics for your operative. One is to gain trust levels. Every 5 levels of trust will grant you new cosmetics. If you're looking to unlock the helmet, simply go into your penances option by hitting the escape key. Penances, class, and select your class to check the prerequisite for the helmet cosmetic. One other way to get helmets and other colored armor as of patch 1.08 is to buy them off the armory. Helmets will only start to show once you reach trust level 30. It's a good way to spend money you don't actually need. Speaking of patch 1.08, the crafting NPC has also been unlocked. Crafting materials like plasteel and diamantine will randomly spawn around missions. You can find them just simply sitting around or by opening boxes. Look out for this symbol, this is an indicator. Do note that crafting materials are not shared between your characters. And that's all I have for you. If you're stuck around to the end, thank you so much. If you found these tips and tricks helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video. I'm planning to create more Darktide videos in the future, so please look out for that. Happy hunting!